Okay, in this video we're going to talk about power tips for using the Boolean OR when we have large strings of strings or keywords to search on, and how a lot of times the Boolean OR is going to be much more effective than ANDing a bunch of those terms together. But let's give you a little bit of bonus information just on general usability of Cobalt IP. I've got this search for multi-touch up on the screen, and I executed it from the quick search window. One thing, and we've got 4,070 results. One thing that I want to point out is that if I did the same exact search, multi-touch, from the expert syntax window, I actually get the same results. Even more, let's go ahead and close this. Close that one too. If I searched on something totally unrelated, like B-A-N-A-N-A, like banana, and then I say, gee, what I really meant to search on was multi-touch, and I execute that search from the My Query window, as long as I've not already applied some of those filters from the previous banana search, it's going to behave exactly the same. So these three windows, the My Query, the expert syntax, and the quick search window, are all going to behave the same. So I hope that's just a little tip that you can use to maybe make things a little bit quicker. So let's go ahead and execute this complicated query from the blog, and let's talk about the Boolean OR. So the first thing we want to do is we want to do this complicated ANDed query. So I'm just going to copy that from the Word document and we'll paste it into quick search. It doesn't matter, we could have done that in expert search, as you know. And here we've got 49 documents that are probably pretty closely related, although you're going to get some strange outliers. In the blog I mentioned this barbecue grill. I mean, it's in fact a grill, and yet if you look through the specification, all of the keywords match. I mean, displaying point, sensor. I mean, it's got the grill with sensors, so it's got something going on. And so you will get some strange results sometimes, but I think one of the things that we all know is that 49 documents is just not going to cover the amount of information, and we're really restricted. And so you could go through and start editing. Well, what if I got rid of multi-point? What if I got rid of multiple? And really, is spacer key to this invention? Which in my case it is. And display, and you might have a bunch of synonyms for display, which we all know exists, screens and monitors and things like that. And you start deleting, but now all of a sudden you're not getting the recall, you're not recalling what you want. So really what the solution to do is to use the Boolean OR query. So let's go back to that Word document and we'll select it so you don't have to watch me type for 10 minutes and probably make 50 typos. And so I'm just going to select this text, and we're going to execute that same exact query as a Boolean OR. And notice we've got 7 million results. Well, we're not going to read 7 million patents. I think it would take multiple lifetimes to do that. We really want to only focus on the patents that are most relevant. Well, as it turns out, the sorting algorithm inside of Cobalt is going to bring those to the top anyway. So the patents that we had on that ANDed query, those 49 patents, are actually going to appear, maybe not the top 49, but they're going to appear in the top 100. Of course, and actually that barbecue patent, because even though it matched on those terms, they don't occur very often. They're not that important to describing that particular invention, and it actually drops fairly low in this particular result. So that is the beauty of the Boolean OR, is to say, not that I'm going to go and look at the 7 millionth most relevant patent, because it might have just well, I guarantee it only matched on something like pressure, and we all know that pressure can be related to a million different concepts that have nothing to do with this sort of touch screen idea. And so but we really can go through until we are satisfied, go to page 2, go to page 3, until we are satisfied that, hey, these patents are no longer going to be relevant to my particular search, which will happen at some point, and you can make that decision. So the other thing that we wanted to talk about in that video is that I show you a power tip, and that is on faceting. Now, if we actually look at these facets, we'll see that the facets really represent the corpus itself. Why? Because I'm faceting on 7 million documents. And so IBM, Samsung, Canon, GE, Toshiba, they're all going to be at the top of the list, because this 7 million patents approaches the whole corpus itself. And so we're not going to get any real information. Now, we could use it. If I wanted to filter on just the IBM patents, I could check IBM and I could update the search. And because I've got all these restrictions, we're going to find just IBM patents that have a plurality, or a lot of these keywords, and so these are going to be the most relevant within IBM's portfolio, but still we've got 113,000. So let's go back to that previous query. I just click the back button there, and let's figure out a better way, because we want to understand this set. So in this example, let's go through creating a research folder, and I'm going to check the new box, and we'll call this multi-touch. And I'll save it. So now I've got a folder created. Close that, just to get out of the way. And I'm going to check these documents. By checking this upper box, we're going to select them all. Now notice to the right of the forward button, there's the file button. But look, when I check that, it says the selected button appears, and it says 50. It knows I've selected the first page. I've selected 50 documents. We're going to check it again, and I'm going to select those. So now I've got 100 selected. We'll go to page 3. We'll grab 150 documents, and now I'm going to choose the button and say Add to Folder, and we will put them inside that touchscreen multi-touch patents, and we're going to save those out. So now, and of course we would have done this until the patents are really going to be no longer relevant. And we've got a nice tidy set, but it's going to be far more expansive, with much better recall. And we can go into that research folder, choose the multi-touch portfolio. Notice it's got 150 documents. I can double click that, and we're going to open it up. And now when we look at these facets, we're going to see that, okay, these are in fact the assignees and the classes, etc., that are represented by these patents that I deemed as more relevant. Of course, you can do more refining, and you're going to find some outliers in here, maybe a barbecue grill eventually, that are not going to be related, and you're going to want to dump those out. And it's as simple as checking it, selecting, and say remove from that folder, and it is gone. So I hope you use the Boolean OR even more often than Boolean and it gets more beneficial the larger your group of terms are, and really start relying on the sorting algorithm to bring the most important or the most relevant documents to the top of your list. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.